What's going on, guys? I'm your host Twan and we are back with another video. Today is the beginning after the end, chapter 232. Let's get to it. We pick up where Arthur's sitting high in the mountains after his argument with his parents. Jasmine decides to check on him, but she's a bit pissed that she had to climb a fucking mountain just to get to him. He asks her, how did she find him? But remember, Jasmine trained Arthur when he was a child, so tracking him down is light work for her. As the two continue their conversation, Jasmine tells Arthur his parents really do care about him and his dad is always talking about him being a Lance. She goes on to say, Arthur's parents blame themselves for Adam dying. Remember, Adam died during the war against Alicrea, sacrificing himself to save his comrades. He was killed by the Alicrean Mana Beast after staying behind to defend a retreating group of Dicothan troops and civilians. Specifically, he took a fatal blow for Helen. She goes on to say, after Lena died, Arthur's mom was suffering from PTSD and only healed bruises and small cuts. Jasmine tells him what his parents are doing isn't just for him, but for themselves as well, so don't let their relationship become just like hers and her family. My favorite part of the chapter is Arthur using his fire magic to keep them warm on this cold ass mountaintop. She goes on to tell Arthur that her jaw hurts from all this talking, so he better be thankful. Arthur tells her thank you for being there for him. The two go on to talk all night long about everything, sharing stories of their adventures since splitting up and what they've been doing since they've been apart. The chapter then transitions back to the castle, where we see Sylvia living her best life. She learned that using mana is critical for humans to walk, but she finds it so tiring to do. She then goes on to find Ellie and tell her Arthur's on his way home, so come downstairs to see him. Arthur arrives and he is drenched from the rain and tries to give out hugs, which Ellie and Sylvie reject. But Arthur, being Arthur, forces the hugs anyway. Don't worry, he dried them off afterwards. As they're walking through the castle, Ellie tells Arthur she rode through to the light red stage of her mana core while Arthur was away. But this makes Arthur sad because he doesn't want Ellie to join the war, and it seems like every time he comes back from a mission, she's becoming stronger. She goes on to tell him she's been sparring with Princess Catherine to better control her magic output. Arthur offers her aid in her training, but she refuses, going on to say, yeah, they're 4 years apart, but they share the same blood, and Arthur's already a white court mage and has 4 elements to use in his bag. She says if he taught her, she'd just keep comparing herself to him throughout the entire training session. That's when Sylvie tells her not to worry about that. Even amongst Asheras, Arthur is literally a freak, so don't let it get to her. The chapter then shifts gears to Arthur and Sylvie meeting with the council. Arthur is a bit annoyed because he didn't want to attend this meeting. That's why he sent the transmission scroll in the first place. The king goes on to say they should keep their forces as they are and send reinforcements to the forest as needed. The elves don't like this because it shows that the king doesn't consider the elven territory worthy of defending. He tells them that the wall has been under constant pressure since day one, so shouldn't protecting the Sapis borders take priority? The Elven King goes on to say he has multiple elves stationed at the wall for his protection, but barely any of Sapis troops are helping protect their forest. The king goes on to say, the Elshire forest itself is a form of defense. The dense magical fog has deterred everyone for years. At this point, they're having a fierce exchange about when and where to deploy their troops. Virion forces them to stop and goes on to say they're going to focus their forces on the front lines while leaving behind some troops in the dungeons to prevent any future attacks on the forest. But as they're explaining their plan, we see Alicrean soldiers preparing a barrier that destabilizes the mist and allows them to enter the forest unhindered and unseen.